Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Friday Field Report. I am very lost, Vicky. I am not in my field, and you just climbed into a treehouse.
I did for the third time in a row on the Friday Field Report, and I didn't fall, which is
And you
always
didn't fall.
a good
That's the
thing.
most important part. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. See, look, we're already winning.
We are. And for everybody tuning in, we know that there's been some technical difficulties on my end the last few times. So we did some troubleshooting ahead of time, and hopefully there's going to be no Taylor Swift changes or glitches or anything like that. Will, we've got a packed show today.
Yeah, we do. We have an absolutely packed show today. So I am super excited for everything we've got going on today. Let's start off with a question I like to ask in my Friday Field Report.
Yes.
What's got you excited this week, Vicky?
The Olympics. I know we're going to dive into that a little bit more in a minute.
We'll dive into that.
I hope everybody's tuning in to watch that.
I know, right? That's going to be so exciting. I for one am looking forward to track and field.
Track and field.
Always
okay.
Fun to watch. Yeah. I'm not running, so it's fun to watch other people run.
I'm looking forward to the equestrian stuff. I know that probably comes as a shock
Amazing.
to everyone.
Absolutely. A shock. No one ever would have guessed that you love horse events.
Right. Yeah. So you've got some, what do you have on your shirt? You've got the MSP Geek shirt on, right?
I am wearing an MSP Geek shirt today. How's it going, MSP Geek friends?
Yeah, I'm rocking my Humanize It t-shirt.
Love
with
it.
Unicorn on it. Yeah, so we're definitely
part of what makes
IT Nation ecosystem community vibes going on this Friday Field Report.
Absolutely. I was gonna say that's what makes ConnectWise and Friday Field Report so much fun is community.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of which, let's dive into some of the stuff that you're working on, and maybe the product teams are working on, and then I want to tap into some of the ecosystem stuff that we're doing.
I love it. Let's talk through that. So I am super excited to announce our new Mastering ConnectWise series. So we started this originally with unified monitoring, and we're expanding it to include business management as well. So super cool. This is kind of your back to school, if you will. Like, kids are about to go back to school. Well, guess what? You get to go back to school too and learn everything you can about a lot of our products. So we did just start off the business management series July 23rd. So the first episode of that has dropped. It is an Ask Me Anything series. So if you got a bunch of burning questions that you want to know, jump in, you can learn, you can get questions answered, and it's really just great. It's an open format. We're going to have a theme every week, and it is every week. That's the other big thing. So we're alternating between business management and unified monitoring and management. So, RMM, et cetera. And, it was something that a lot of people need, especially if you're newer to our products. This is a great way to get in and learn tips and tricks, or if you've been using our products forever and there's just features you haven't picked up yet or figured out, this is a great time for you to go in and really be able to drive in. So you can click that QR code right there. You'll see the themes and the subjects we're going to cover every week. And it is, again, Tuesdays for business management and Thursdays for remote monitoring and management, both at 11 o'clock. So join us.
Awesome. And speaking of Ask Me Anything, we have a town hall that's happening. I believe it's happening on Monday. And so essentially ConnectWise has made some internal updates to our organization. And the whole reason why we've done that is to really enhance and make the partner experience even better. And Alan Comet, who was on our show 2 weeks ago, right? Will, he was talking a little bit about this. He's our new Chief Customer Officer at ConnectWise. And he's going to be joined by Aziz bin Malik, who is our new Chief Business Officer. If you haven't met Aziz, he worked at Microsoft for over 2 decades. He's worked at Splunk. He's had a lot of great technology leadership roles, and he's coming to ConnectWise to help really bring the front of our organization, the sales and the sales engineering and product processes together, along with the back end and the partner processes together. And so that's why we thought it'd be really cool to bring this to the community. So if you want to join us July 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do have a link that you can go and register for. They'll be talking through some of their updates and some of the commitments that they are going to be bringing to their new roles and to ConnectWise in general. And you'll get an opportunity to AMA, ask your questions, folks. This is the time.
Love it. Love it. Both super cool guys. We, like you said, we've had Alan on the show before. He's always a trip, a lot of fun, super cool guy. Aziz is the same way, like very, very sharp guy. I like him a lot. So I'm glad to have both of them on a webinar together. And it's great to see where the new directions we're taking while the company are going to be.
Yeah. So let's dive into some of the other events that we have going on next week. And I know there are going to be a few ConnectWise leaders and IT Nation leaders at CompTIA ChannelCon. We've also been talking about CompTIA ChannelCon over the past few shows. But some of the stuff that if you're going to be in Atlanta and you're joining us, make sure to put this on your calendar. We have a ConnectWise Roadshow that's going to be a golfing event. And we want you to join us. It's going to be Tuesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. at 5 Iron Golf. If you're going to be there on site, make sure to say hello to myself or Sean Lardo, Matt Topper, Natalie Suarez, Angus Robertson, Mike Goldberg. We have Uber vouchers. We want to make sure that it's effortless and expenseless to come out and see us and have some fun. So we've got that going on. We also have on Monday a pre-day that Matt Topper and Natalie and Sean are hosting. And it's a cybersecurity thought leadership show. Yeah. And they also have a really fun spin on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So for those of you who are Hitchhiker fans and have read the book, there's the towel. They talk about the towel as being like the most important thing that you can have in the universe. And so if you're there, come join us, bring your towel, and make sure that you get some of the cybersecurity knowledge that those three are going to be dropping at ChannelCon. And then lastly, I know, isn't it fun? Yeah, I had to look that one up because I haven't read the book yet, but it's definitely on my summer reading list now. And then lastly, we have a really cool event that the Pitch It crew are going to be hosting at ChannelCon. It's called the Crow's Nest. So Threat Captain is actually rented out a suite along with all of these amazing Pitch It vendors that are going to be at the show as well. And so there's a lot of fun things that you can leverage when you're there on site. Mimosas and breakfast, and I believe they're going to be having cigars and things in the afternoon happening. So make sure that you register at that link that is on the slide, and you will be able to take part in all of those fun activities, as well as all the other amazing ChannelCon activities. All right. So
exciting.
I know. We had a lot of updates to get to, folks, but the best is still yet to come because we do have some other guests joining us. So who do we got, Will?
So first off, I do want to just mention, as we're bringing in our next guest, IT Nation Sydney is coming up. It is August 21st through 23rd. If you haven't registered, please do. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. We're going to talk about some really cool stuff. I know I can't talk about it yet, but yeah, like you're going to want to be there, especially if you're in the Australia, New Zealand area. Also, Automation Nation's coming up September 9th through 10th. Also want to register. It's awesome. Great way to learn more about what we're doing with automation and hyper automation here at ConnectWise and really get, elbows deep into it to start building a lot of your own stuff. But let's talk about another IT Nation thing, and that is Evolve. So to do that, I want to bring in our dear friend Jody Hicks to talk with us. Maybe.
I'm here.
We're going to bring...
Hey!
All right,
It's got to be flexible, right? And Vicky, just so you know, I had not read Hitchhiker's Guide yet, but I just started it because I've been in like 3 or 4 meetings and they're dropping little hints about Hitchhiker's Guide. So I assumed it was going to be important. So I started reading the book. So just so you know, I felt out of place also by not reading the book yet.
Okay, good. All
right. And Will, I'm going to add, because I'm a sales guy, I just start talking. So sorry, guys, that's just what I do. You're mentioning all the exciting events coming up. We also have another exciting event coming up. It's the IT Nation Grow event. That's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks in Denver. It's a new event. And if you do a search on IT Nation Grow, It's in regards to both M&A and organic growth for MSPs out there. It's a new, like I said, a new event. We're going to be holding it on a quarterly basis, but it's got fabulous subject matter experts. Of course, people from the Evolve group, but also people throughout ConnectWise and outside of ConnectWise, sharing a lot of great content. If MSPs, if the owners or general managers are interested in learning how to grow their MSP, at least go to the do a search on IT Nation Grow, look at it, see what's going on, and see if it's something interesting.
Love it.
Yeah. And it's happening at the same time as the user group, right? I think. Same
user
day,
group
same day.
And the Evolve peer group. So we're trying to do as much as we can in the locations we're going to. So trying to be as efficient as possible. Increasing those OMLs, if you know them, from service leadership.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
So what I wanted to get into, though, the reason I'm here is because of the peer groups, obviously. If you don't know me out there, I'm sorry. I'm trying to meet everybody. I've been in the industry for 27 years. Started with Arlen Sorensen, the founder of the peer groups. I was his first salesperson, was there when he created the peer groups, and I've been with him ever since. And the peer groups, if you're not aware of the peer groups out there, shame on you and shame on me. Obviously, I'm not communicating enough. But they're an incredible, you guys were talking about community earlier. It is the culture of the peer groups, which started 24 years ago, and we continue, we value that culture, is about the community. When you get involved in your peer group, when you get into those closed door sessions, which all our peer groups are closed door, 10 companies with a facilitator, you talk about, and I'm old, so you open the Komodo, you start talking about eating your own dog food, whatever one of those, phrases that you guys felt comfortable using back in the day. But it's all about being real with each other and getting to what's happening and how you can help each other run your MSPs. But I say run MSPs. We have a plethora, which is my favorite word by far, a plethora of different types of peer groups out there. And those are the owner groups, which most people think about. But there's a lot of different role-based groups. So if you aren't the owner or the general manager of your organization, but you're in sales or service, a CFO, a COO, cybersecurity, whatever area you're working in, there are peer groups for you also that you can participate in. And again, they're all 10 people, closed door. They meet quarterly. The details are pretty similar. And again, if you want to go to IT Nation Evolve, Google it, or search it in the browser of your choice, and look up the information we have there. But I truly believe, right now we've probably got internationally, everybody in APAC, EMEA, and North America, we probably have close to 600 companies that are involved in some way, shape, or form with our peer groups. And while I'm a salesperson, I'm going to tell you the data behind it. If you're out and if you're at these wonderful events like Automation Nation or Grow or any of them, find somebody that's in the peer groups and talk to them. See what, and the number one thing I hear is, I should have done it 2 years sooner. I was waiting to get X, Y, and Z done. And had I known, if I'd gotten involved in the peer groups, they would have helped me with X, Y, and Z. So I could have, expanded and grew my MSP faster.
I love that. That is fantastic. And honestly, I've heard a lot of the same thing from pretty much everyone involved in peer groups. I wish I'd gotten in it sooner.
Yeah. And real quick, I know we've got a lot going on, so we're on a tight time frame, but
oh, you're good.
But I'm trying not to talk too fast because that's what happens, But if you ask, why do people get involved? And when I'm talking to an MSP owner out there that hasn't been involved before, I want them to know a lot of those people feel like I'm on an island all by myself and I have to make all these decisions by myself. And as this show and as ConnectWise is trying to show you is there are people out there that'll help you. Some of them are vendors, and they're not just trying to sell you products. There's a lot of vendors out there that are willing to share information and help you. And at the end of the day, they hope you buy something from them. But again, you have to lead with that authenticity. And the same thing in the peer groups. We get together so you don't feel like you're by yourself. You have to shoulder all this by yourself, because I've never owned an MSP. I've never owned a business. I've never been the person in charge, but I know that's an overwhelming feeling, and you don't have to feel that way. And so if you're interesting,
you're not on an island. You're not on an island, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You're not by yourself. There are a lot of people, and you can say to yourself, and I hear it all the time, yeah, but we're a little bit different, and we do think, no, at the end of the day, if you ever talk to Brad Scow, he's always going, there's no special sauce. Okay, you might think you have a special sauce, and in your area, in your geographical area, I think you might throw that. But at the end of the day, you're very similar to everybody else out there. And there's something about sitting around a table with other people in the same seat as you, having a discussion around HR issues or pricing issues, or, hey, my EBITDA went down last quarter and I have no idea why. All right, let's have a discussion. Having those discussions with other
Jody,
people.
Can you touch on real quick, like, what are there are some like, I would not call them niche, but like specialized Evolve groups as well. Can you kind of highlight what those are?
Yeah, so we call them role-based groups. So those role-based groups are sales, service, the CFO, the COO, and then cybersecurity. And so, and we create these groups as our members come to us and say, hey, we've grown our OML. We're a larger MSP than we started. And I now have a CFO on staff, a true CFO, not somebody who just has a title, but a true CFO. And I don't know how to integrate them. All right, we'll start a peer group. And so that's how we start growing these groups, is because our members come to us and say, and if you look, Evolve peer group members grow 28% faster than the market. Okay, there's my marketing tagline.
We should have led with that.
Yeah.
But so as they're growing, and if you're watching this, there is still a lot of business to be won out there as an MSP. Don't think we're getting close to saying, oh, the pie has been divided and it's all eaten. No, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Just look at, if you see anything by Service Leadership, a ConnectWise product, but look at the marketing data that they keep talking about. This industry is going to continue to grow. And as we used to say back in the old tech company Arlen owned at HTS, we always wanted our unfair share of that. And so we were always out there looking at ways to gain more market.
Yeah, you're right. The pie just keeps growing every year, man. And there's slices for everybody. You just got to find them.
Exactly. And don't be worried about, well, I know my competitor is in there. Guess what? We are all each other's competitors. At the end of the day, you want to compete with people who have morals and ethics, not, as I used to call him, Johnny Trunk Slammer from down the street that's going to sell it below cost and mess that customer up. And then I'm going to have to come in and fix it all and feel like a really bad person because they're going to have to spend a lot more money than I originally told them because they have so many new issues now. I'd rather compete against good people.
Awesome. I think there's some birds behind Will that agree with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Some woodpeckers. Is it the family of woodpeckers that's chiming in? I don't know, Will, but yeah.
There are like 12 woodpeckers above me yelling at each other right now.
There's a reason he's wearing a hat. You got to be careful when birds are overhead.
Absolutely. I'm not looking up either.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Or, hey, roll the dice. I mean, it would make for fun TV. I don't know.
I mean, look, we need a blooper reel at some point.
Well, I think we could fill a whole hour's worth of bloopers from this show at this point. But that's what makes it fun. So, and Jody, just to highlight the point that you're talking about, Jess, our producer, if you could put that picture up on the screen. This is a great picture that Dan Scott sent in to us today. And Dan Scott, obviously, he's an integral part of the UK and EMEA community, part of Evolve as well. He went to go visit one of our partners who is also an Evolve member from your IT department in Nottingham. So this is Charlie Clark and Dan Scott. And folks, this is great. We love seeing pictures like this. So if you have other pictures in the field that you would love to see on the Friday Field Report, please send them in, because we want to showcase the power of this community. So
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Thanks for joining us, Jody. We appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you, guys. Have a great Friday.
Thanks. Have a great one. All right. Well, we have more. It's singing the words of Billy Mays, but wait, there's more, right?
There is. Yeah. So we have Jerome, who is joining us from the SOC team. He is actually the interim VP of security operations at ConnectWise now. So Jerome, thank you so much for joining us on the Friday Field Report. How are you doing?
Doing great. I am staying inside because it is a little warm here. Not a real big fan of sweating during the day. So yeah, I'm inside.
That's okay.
Yep.
That's okay. We'll take one for the team, especially in this Florida humidity is really starting to play some tricks in my hair, but
Me too.
But Jerome, we want to hear a little bit about who is Jerome Smith? Tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been at ConnectWise? And let's start there.
Yeah. So I guess I started my adult career, the non-criminal, youth kind of career. But my adult career, I started in the Marine Corps, did about 4 years there, jumped around doing government contract work, doing private sector stuff, and then eventually got into the world of enterprise consulting that included like data center refreshes, security consulting around compliance, kind of a do-it-all kind of area as an SME. That, of course, means you're on the road a lot. So decided to take a little break and settle down, got into the MSSP world by accident. And that led me to where I am today. So I've been with ConnectWise for about 2 years now. I was brought in to kind of really take the SOC and security operations to the next level. And in the past year, we've done a ton of work. We it's a whole new world over here. So that's why I have a little bit of extra free time now to do things like this.
Yeah,
Love it.
I'm surprised you didn't bust into song. It's a whole new world.
I don't sing very well.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll take one for the team on that one as well. But so, can you tell us a little bit about? We obviously wanted to bring you on the show because you have a new, really, really awesome role that you are in at ConnectWise, and that speaks obviously to the experience that you just told us. But there's also another reason we wanted to bring you on, and that was to talk about the CrowdStrike outage and how it affected our partners last week.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fun one, right? I mean, aside from the fact that it's already being billed as the largest IT outage in history, we're seeing numbers, it's $1 billion, hit to, companies globally, from the outages. You saw, all the things about, the flights aren't running. I was sitting here at my house figuring, okay, this really sucks, right? So we're doing the things that we need to do to make sure our partners are squared away, right? We're doing our research, we're doing, releasing additional information, releasing blog posts. But I thought about it, I was like, it's time for me to go to lunch. But then I was like, I can't go out and get lunch because I don't know if I can pay for it because everyone uses computers, right? So I decided to sit at home and I made a sandwich. It's okay. Usually pizza bites are my go-to, but so one huge issue with system outages and things like that, and then you have all the people who are trying to put the pieces back together, right? You have all your sysadmins, you have all your engineers, and you even have for some of these remote areas, you might have a frontline worker that they use the computer for just the bare minimum. They're now forced to kind of help, right? Because you can't get somebody on site for these fixes. Well, in doing that, one of the things that we noticed, and because we have research capabilities, we're able to get some of this additional information as soon as we were seeing it. There's an uptick in CrowdStrike related domain names that were being created and registered.
Oh,
yep.
Sure. Yep.
Everything saying, here's the fix, right? CrowdStrike fix is in a lot of phishing. There's also, you could still do a web search and you could search for the fix, and you'll find, useful websites that were, they had, you can download this zip file that contains the scripts you need to create these devices, right? And in that, it was the perfect opportunity for threat actors to do unimpeded, because everyone's freaking out, right? It's a huge deal, right? Get the systems back online so, we can start running. And it's one of those areas where the threat actors, threat actors are smart, right? It is the things that when there's an opportunity, they seize it, right? And one of these areas where now, there's a whole, chunk of new deployments of info stealers, remote access tools, other malware tools, right? That now, there's, we're, searching for those, removing them. Some of the smaller, for instance, these companies that may have it, they may have bought the product through, a distributor. They may not be big. They may not have a huge. They may not also be covered by an MSP, right? That has some of the knowledge, awareness, and skill to identify these things and not deploy in cases like this, right? And they follow the published guidance from between Microsoft, CrowdStrike. We publish guidance on how to.
Where can people find our published guidance?
So there's a lot of LinkedIn. There's a couple of LinkedIn blogs that if you search for on LinkedIn, you'll see those there. We also have released, I believe it's on our Trust Center adjacent.
Yes.
Can't ask me for a link. But yeah, no.
No. I mean, but it's always on the Trust site, right? Like always, it always goes back to the Trust site.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever we started the investigation into what happened, right? So we always, I'm a security guy. There's always the assumption, and that we always have that. Was this a security event? As in, was it a cybersecurity event that triggered, an issue with, was an attack on CrowdStrike? Nope, it wasn't. It was something that everyone falls prey to, right? Eventually, not to this extent though, right? They missed something in testing. And that opened the door for everything else that we've already talked about. There really is. This will happen again. It will happen. This will happen again with another vendor. It's inevitable, right? Because human's human, and technical processes aren't perfect. So when this happens again, hopefully, people have kind of developed a playbook around it, and now are aware.
Developed a process of how to navigate through it when it happens to you. You hope it doesn't.
Yeah. And the threats that come with it, these are going to be the same types of threats that we're going to see, right? We're going to see people take advantage of, people in a very critical spot, right? And it's not it's the individual that is trying to get these things up and running again that is making the decision on what resources to use and things like that. And sometimes they are in a tough spot, and they're a victim, right? And
Jen Easterly had a really good director for CISA, put out a really interesting post this past weekend, and it was an ode to an outage. And if you haven't given it a read, make sure you find Jen Easterly on LinkedIn and follow her and read it, because she speaks to the exact same point that you're saying, Jerome, in the same vein of, not if it's going to happen again, but when. So when it comes to ConnectWise, look at the Trust Center. Make sure that you get connected with Jerome, because he's putting out a lot of great content and helping us to lead the way from a cybersecurity standpoint. Jerome, what's the last thing you want to leave our listeners with today before you come back? And maybe you'll be in a field. We'll invite you back in the wintertime, so it's not as hot. How about that?
I mean, I may go outside and get. I have a pond that I can go jump in. I may take a swim, put my phone in a bag or something, right? I don't know. But yeah, no, I enjoy this, and just everybody just keep an eye out. We're continuing to evolve from cybersecurity front at ConnectWise, and there's a lot of really cool stuff coming. So make sure that you guys are paying attention to blogs, that you're attending the events, these webinars. See at IT Nation events as well. So I'll be around. You'll see me.
Okay, great. If there's the sock pavilion anywhere, you will probably see Jerome or hear his voice.
Yep.
Yes.
That's another good way to find him.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for your time, Jerome. We appreciate you for hopping on the Friday Field Report. Look forward to having you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, cool. So we're wrapping up, Will. Before we say goodbye, and I'll see you again on August 9th, is there anything else you wanted to leave the audience with?
Look, I'm excited for August 9th. Also, I applaud Jerome for wanting to go climb into a pond. Here in Florida, we look at ponds and go, there's gators in there. So remember, if you're in Florida, don't go swimming in ponds. Till next time.
Have a great day, everyone.